Hello darlings, welcome to another episode of Curries and Stories. Today I'm going to make something called lamb korma. Now this is what my friends back home in England, when they've never tried a curry, I start them off with this because it's not spicy, it's a gentle, mellow flavour that introduces you to the lovely fragrant spices of Indian food. Let's get started. So here I've got some water boiling and this will be for my almonds. I've got about a handful. We're only going to boil these for about 4 to 5 minutes. The reason I'm doing this is to loosen the skin because we're going to peel them. That's happening. I have my pan on here with oil that's heating up to fry my onions. So we're going to fry these. Be very careful. Make sure there's no small children around. So we fry these until they're nice and golden brown. Keep an eye on them. Don't want them to burn. So, while that's happening over here in my pans, I'm going to marinate my mutton. Now here, I have half a kilo of mutton shoulder on the bone. That goes in. And this is hung yogurt. I hung it for about half an hour this morning. It's fine. It's about a cup. That goes in. I've got some coriander powder. I'm going to add a good heaped teaspoon. Huge teaspoons of ginger and garlic. About a teaspoon of turmeric and the same of chili powder. Give that a mix. And as you've noticed, I haven't seasoned it, but I will. So my marinade is done. There is still a little bit more to add, but bear with me. So while they're still browning and that's still boiling, I'm going to grind my whole spices. Now here I have mace. Now this is the outer shell of the nutmeg plant. Just take a few bits off, a handful of cardamom pods, and I'm going to grate some nutmeg. Now I'm going to grind. So my whole spices are ground, almonds are done, so I've got some cold water in here, so I'm just going to take these little beauties out, and my onions are a lovely golden brown colour, so let's take these out and put them on kitchen towel. So now it's just a process of derobing these lovely little almonds. So all we do is we just derobe these and put them in with the whole spices that we ground earlier. So my almonds are in with the spices that I ground earlier. Now we're going to make a paste. Right, let me see what the situation is. So you can see it's a little dry. Now you need to make it into a paste. So I'm going to add a splash of water. Scrape down the sides. There we go. That is exactly the consistency that you need. So, almond spices paste done. Now, remember those onions we fried earlier? I'm just going to put them in to the same mixie that I ground the onions in, because it's all going to go in together eventually. Lid on. Lovely. Let's just take these out. You need a pressure cooker. Pressure cooker on, hob on. Now, this is a really rich recipe, so a little bit of ghee is okay. And now for that marinated mutton. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are saying, but she hasn't seasoned it with salt. Don't worry. It's a coming. Cook it out, frying it out, until the heat separates from the mutton. Take about 5 minutes. So you can see that the ghee is kind of separated. Now into that, I'm going to add the onions that we ground earlier. These will give it a really nice sweet flavour, as well as helping thicken the sauce. So before I mix those in properly, I'm going to season it. Salt, add according to your own taste. Give it a good stir. Oh, if you could smell this, somebody needs to invent smell-o-vision. Right, now water to cover. That's it. Now, lid on. Now, I made this for a really good friend of mine. Now, she's from Delhi, but now lives in Bombay. And I made this, I thought, let me just get her to try it. She tasted it and she said, oh my God, this is exactly how my grandparents make it at home in Delhi. It's typical Pakistani food. And the fact that she said, it's as good as what we make at home, you've got to try it at home, guys. Let's leave that 4 or 5 whistles, job done. Right, I'm going to turn this off. This has had a few more whistles than 4 and 5. I think I've probably given it about 8. But obviously when you're doing this, stop it, see it. If it's done, it's ready. If not, give it a couple of more. Now let's see. There we go. You can see that the water has reduced a little bit. Keep the gas on now. It's bubbling away. So, you remember that paste we made? All of this goes in. You can see, look, as if by magic, it's thickening up. I'm going to sprinkle some garam masala, homemade of course. Now, I'm going to add something that's going to give it a little bit of fragrance. Now, this is called Kewda Water, spelled K-E-W-D-A. You can get this in all Indian grocery shops, and apparently it's available in Tesco's and Sainsbury's. Pour that in. If you can't get hold of it, rose water will do just as well. So this is for fragrance. And it's smelling very fragrant. We're done. Now to serve. So there you go, guys. This lovely, fragrant mutton korma. Do try it at home. Your family will thank you for it. Enjoy.